Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Wednesday night, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves. It's the No Assist Reserves division. And your commentary team for this evening is Front Row Racing GP and RMS Maranello 55.
Thank you very much there, DP. Yes, I am Front Row Racing GP, also known as the Murray Talker, and with me in the commentary box we have our guest commentator from the World Championship Drivers. It's RMS Maranello. How are you this evening, Ollie?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm not too bad. Just trying to get my head around doing some commentating again after obviously the last time I was online on here. I was racing, didn't do too well myself, but we won't go into that. Yeah, so this is the reserves race and Austria. What do you think we're going to expect at Austria today, Ollie?
Qualifying, I don't know what everyone's pace is like, but the race, I think you can expect some coming togethers. Not coming to get you, but coming togethers.
Yeah. So, just to say though,
second corners.
Yeah, on coming to get you, he is one to watch as well because he won the previous WCR race in Baku. Quite dominantly as well, must be said. So, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on coming to get you. Also, in the on the podium in the last race was Breaking Clays and Una Erçim, who was from Turkey, in the McLaren. So, yep. Three drivers there to see how they get on again this week. So just a little idea of what this league is basically here for. We've got the World Championship, which is the main league, and if any drivers are unavailable for any particular week, this is the little group of drivers they get to select from to take their seat as a reserve driver. So the World Championship drivers are either going to be possibly taking part in this event if there's some space, or even watching and seeing if there's anybody that they need to cover them. And I'm just trying to think if it's if there's a space for somebody next week, because I think there's a space in the Red Bull because somebody's unavailable. I think there might be
yeah, Mr. Hamilton 44, he's away next week and he has actually already arranged who his reserve is going to be.
Ooh, do we know who it is? Can we announce it, or is that not fair to say?
No, I think we could announce it, yeah. Coming to get you, he's been chosen by Mr. Hamilton 44 to take his seat for that drive. It's a wise call, but it does mean that in the World Championship race next week, there's a really good chance for the WC drivers to gain some points on Mr. Hamilton 44.
That is true. Yeah, so couple of topics we wish to discuss as well this week before we set the guys over to the circuit. I'm going to just briefly mention them now, and then we'll go into a bit more detail in a moment. We've got something we want to discuss about teammates. If you do happen to lose your teammate because he has been selected for a full-time seat in one of the main leagues, what happens to your team? Also, the tyre glitch that Coders have released a statement this week. We're going to have a little discussion about that a little later on. But also something that I can say this will be the first time we're going to discuss this season, and that is points for reserve drivers in the reserve league. So in other words, try and explain that one, DP.
Well, obviously one of the things that a few drivers had asked for at the start of the season was points in the reserve events, and we held off doing that for a few reasons. Just to let you know, WC drivers are joining this lobby now, not many spaces left. But yeah, we did hold off doing that because we've changed the format of how the reserve system works. We wanted to get a base of working on that, and it's getting there now. So one of the things that's sort of been thrown up in the air as a possibility going forward is not from these events today and tomorrow, but from the next reserve events in 2 weeks' time, having a sort of just a basic point scoring system until the end of the season. And a couple of reasons for that is, one, it gives the drivers an objective, and two, also the possibility of helping the admins decide who's potentially worthy of moving up if spaces are available at the end of the season, and also a knock-on effect, hopefully perhaps try and just keep an extra bit of interest in the reserve events as we go on towards the end of the season. So a couple of points there, but yeah, it's not finalised, but it's something that could be done, but it would just be a very, very basic points sort of standings, so to speak. No constructors or anything like that, just the drivers' standings.
Yep. Also, the front row racing rule book and the race director from front racing won't be involved in those point scoring races. It will just be for the points that will be given out at the end of the race. No investigations or anything like that. But if somebody does happen to ruin somebody's race, I'm pretty sure that they can still complain, and if they've got video evidence, it'll be looked into still. Not necessarily to take points off anybody, but probably to help them understand where they went wrong and what they could do next time.
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, we've always said with the reserve events that if you see somebody do something really, really bad, then by all means send footage of it into the front row racing page, and then the admins can look at it and go, yeah, okay, that's dodgy. He's driving the wrong way, trying to crash into people. He shouldn't be racing, that kind of thing. But yeah, so there we go. Well, it'd be interesting to see if we do it and how it'd go for the remainder of the season.
Okay, DP, I'm going to head them over to the circuit in a moment, but just before we do, I'm going to read out the guys that we've got in the lobby with us, the World Championship Reserve. So we've got Bleeding Sunrise, Drew, Coming to Get You, Erna Urchin, I'm going to keep saying that wrong, I do apologise, Bob. We've got Break and Clays, Tinahan, Kane Nyanda, SBL Malikakech, Jason, oh, here's a new one I'm not used to saying, Irma Ortel, Emra
Ortel. Nice and simple, that one for you, Steve. I tell you what, it's Emra Ortel.
Emra Ortel. I tell you what, yeah, we'll come to that in a moment. And then we've got some World Championship drivers in there as well, just filling up the grid. And I think I've had a notification as well from one of them saying that they'll join during qualifying at some point because they're running a bit late. So we may get some more guys joining in a little bit. And Calzo's jumped in as well. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on with the... Oh, he's gone again. Maybe we didn't realise it was no assists in here, but there we go. Yes, quick question of the day. If you want to hit ready, we'll send the guys over, and as I go through the question of their day, and if you think you know the answer to this, feel free to have a guess and put it in the comments. So this is for everybody that's watching, commentators, and also anyone that finishes on the podium, we'll ask them as well. So the last time we did a broadcast was the World Series race in Baku last week, and during the race, how many times did DP say, I tell you what? So how many times did he say, I tell you what? So yeah, and what's your guess, Ollie?
I said 21.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of this so I don't forget, and we can't say, well, I said whatever it was. Anyway, so Dave, how many times do you actually think you said it yourself?
I can't believe you've used this as a question of the day, but I'll tell you what.
Let's have you. Another one, ding for today.
When you reminded us that it was a 29 lap race,
26.
You know what? 26 lap race for. Okay, I reckon it's got to be 38 times.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, you know, because you've got to think of qualifying as well, and after the race and the podium interviews. So
and
actually,
before.
yeah, so it could be anywhere from 38 to 60. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the answer at the end. Okay, so we're heading over to qualifying. It could be wet. There is no assists allowed. It could be very interesting. What's the conditions going to be like? Are we going to have the sound of rain, or will it be the sound of music in these hills? It looks dry to me. What's the weather conditions going to say overall? Qualifying dry. Is it going to... Oh, what have you seen? Tell me about it, Ollie.
20 minutes into the race, light rain.
Very interesting. So it's going to start dry then. So how, as a driver then, how would you manage that?
I'd go full dry setup, because considering it's 20 minutes into the race, that's like I don't know how many laps. Not 20 laps, but it's a considerable amount of laps. So I wouldn't sacrifice a wet setup for the amount of time that you're on the dries.
Yeah. So you've got to kind of like just not worry about it too much, be prepared for it. Maybe even put your ride height up just one, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
so you don't aquaplane. It's going to be interesting if it does get damp out there during the race. So out on circuit.
Braken Clays is the first out of the pits. He's just going through sector 2 now. So
Gone on the ultra softs.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the tyres there. Steve mentioned that we talk a little bit about tyres. In the World Championship and World Series, there's a tyre rule in place at the moment. For the reserve races, though, what we've done is basically said, right, there isn't a tyre rule in, but if all the drivers sort of go on a gentleman's agreement that nobody will start on the hardest compounder tyre, then it makes things a little bit fairer. It's too difficult to regulate in the reserve events at the moment. Which means then that the drivers are free to start the race on any tyre they choose, but also it's interesting with what Codemasters have announced recently, as you said, Steve, and to many people's surprise, that they have brought out a beta test that potentially is fixing the tyre wear glitch on the game, which if they are able to fix it, and they're testing it first, but if they are able to fix it, personally, I think that's absolutely fantastic news. And if they do, in the World Championship and World Series, we can scrap the tyre rule that we've got. So what do you think?
Well, my personal opinion is great. It's exactly what we needed Codemasters to do. It shows that they do dedicate themselves to a game. They don't just leave it once they've created it. But I've just got my fingers crossed that it doesn't create another issue underneath somewhere in the programming, because they did say that the issue is right into the core master part of the program that runs the game. So could it evolve onto another issue somewhere else down the line? That would be my worry. But yeah, it's great stuff that they are looking into it. Ollie, what's your thoughts on it?
Sort it out, and we shouldn't have had this problem from the start. So it wouldn't have been a problem. So my views are, I'll put on the quickest tyre and do my own stint, and if someone wants to put on a slower tyre at the start, so be it. If they can do it, then fair enough, but if they can't pull it off, then there was no point in doing it.
Yeah. Well, while we were just having a discussion about the tyres there, Braken Clays went and set the provisional pole time, but I'm just watching Kane Endo as he comes around the final corner, hits the DRS button, and that's wide open. As he goes across the line, it books him up to third place, and he's on the super soft compound tyre. That's a 109.9. I imagine he'll be able to beat that a little bit later on when he goes out for another run, just finding the rear end of that car a little bit light on him. Anyone else out on lap there? Anyone?
Drew's on a lap.
Drew, yep. His first sector of a 16.5. How does that compare?
16.5. Everyone's around that time.
That's not too bad then from Drew. And it's 31.9 sector 2 with 2 corners to go. Can he hit the apex? Drifting off that apex a little bit, but he's within the track limits nicely. May have been able to gain a few more tenths there, but he's gotten cautiously to set his lap time, and it is putting him at 5th place. He knows he can do better than that. I'm not saying it was terrible, I'm just saying he knows he can do an improvement on it. Tina Hunt comes around the last corner, and his time will be a 109.7, that's 5th. Looking at his sector times, he's not quite as quick as during sector 1, but he was quite a lot quicker in sector 3 as he just runs wide as he goes around the first corner on his in lap.
Coming to get you is about to start a flying lap on the ultra soft tyre, I believe.
So this could be a very good lap, and I'm hoping I don't curse him before he's even got to turn 1. Hits his brake marker point spot on, hits the apex, lovely exit, just a little bit of a squirm from the rear end there, heading down towards this corner. Yeah,
these exit curbs on this track are horrible. If you get into the traction zone on them, it spits you off to the other side of the track. It's horrible.
And I'm surprised at his sector 1 time, a 16.8. Did you spot where he may have lost some time there, or do you think that he's gone with a higher aero setup and he's going to bag all the time in the last couple of corners?
Well, maybe.
He needs a sector 2 time of a 31.1 or better. If he does better than a 31.1, then that would suggest high aeros.
So 31.5, but he's got a Sauber going slow ahead and that's out of the way nicely for him, which should not have affected him. I'm just wondering whether he's
Leading
going to...
Sunrise is going to finish a lap. I know he's going to the pit, sorry.
Coming to get you was lovely on the apex, on the penultimate corner, nicely around the last corner. Is that where he's going to find his time? It's not quite enough though. He'll have expected better, because we definitely did, and that was 6th place so far. I'm just wondering whether he's going to go for a second lap. But it's risky doing that. We're taking tyres into the race that have, you know, done 2 laps flying in qualifying, but we'll find out when he's finished his sector 1 what it's going to be. It's only a 10th quicker, you know. That's not looking great down in that first sector. Well, we'll come back to him and have a little look at him later on. So Jason...
Maybe he just hasn't done any practice, really.
Yeah, quite possibly. Jason's sector 1, 16.6, not too bad. And 31.8 sector 2, it's about average. And it looks like he's going to go for an in. Yeah, he's currently sat in 11th position. So I think Auto is out of fuel, trying to get back to the pits. Let's try and find the next World Championship reserve driver on a lap. Oh, I'll tell you what, coming to get you is still pushing. He's done a 31.4 second sector, which I think is another couple of tenths improvement on his previous lap. Penultimate corner, lovely. Last corner, very nice indeed. DRS open. The time's just not there for him. He's improved, but it's not what we're expecting. I don't mean to put him down, but he knows he's quicker and better than what he's just put on the board there. It seems to be in sector 1 though. Go on.
The track might be slow, because not many people are doing quick times.
Yeah.
Even on the ultra softs.
There's a few guys that have come out of the pits on out laps. SBL Malik Kekech, he's on an out lap at the moment. There's also another guy in a Renault, I couldn't see who that was.
True.
That is Drew, he's on an out lap as well.
Oh, I realised what Coming to Get You's just done. He'll have done a lap or laps on lean fuel mix. Because he's not going to want to qualify on those tyres. He'll be putting the super softs on at the end of qualifying and going for a faster lap. And that's what I'm thinking he's likely to do. He wants to obviously put a lap on the board, but one that he knows he can beat. Come on, out of the way, Renault. That's true, thank you.
Malik Kekech.
Was it?
I think.
Okay.
It might have been, if it was in the fast left right chicane, it was Malik Kekech.
Yeah, it just looked a bit like Drew's helmet, that was all. It was a bit red.
Well, Malik Kekech is lining himself up for starting a flying lap now. He's currently sitting in at 7th place.
Okay, so we'll...
Anders starting one as well.
Okay, you let us know how Kane Anders getting on as we watch Malik Kekech, because he has got potential of setting a pole position time. So we'll compare...
Oh, he's lost it on the exit.
A turn 1. Oh dear. Well, I was going to say, let us know how he gets on in sector 1. As Malik Kekech has done a 16.7, and he is on the super soft tyres. Struggles a little bit out of turn 2. The traction out of turn 2. Try and explain that for us, Oliver. Traction out of turn 2 here. What is it like?
It's horrible. It's you're in first gear to get around the corner because it's, but then it's because it's going uphill and it's not an even surface on the track. You put the throttle down, and it just wants to light up the rears, and then you're straight into the DRS zone, so that gives you even less drag, and then you go, and it just doesn't feel good at all. You need to short shift in second. I've been practicing, and I've been short shifting up to fourth before the DRS zone, because if you stay in a low gear, you just cannot get the traction down.
Yeah, it's not very nice.
Drew's looking quite strongish here at the moment. He's on the ultra soft tyre, and as I say there, he's just had a lock up, but he's sort of consistently doing 16, Haas in the barrier, 16.6 sector 1. He's previously done a 31.6, I think it was, sector 2, 31.7, sorry. So I'll see what sector 2, 31.4 sector 2 time. If you can get a good final sector in here, he could find himself gaining a couple of places. The only problem is he's on the ultra soft tyre, and yes, qualifying on them's not a bad idea, but they won't last very long in the race. But around the final corner he goes, heading up to the start finish line. What's it going to be? It's the 5th place.
Yeah, and for Drew, that is pretty good going. I'm not saying for Drew as in we don't expect that, but it's been quite unfortunate this season with his connections, and it'd be nice if, hopefully, fingers crossed, the gods of the internet will let him stay connected.
The Arsenal's done a 16.6 in the first sector. I'm not sure if his lap time's been invalidated, because it's not coming up.
Oh yeah, it just says flying lap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It might. Now as he's crossed the next sector.
31.4 is pretty good.
It's still counting.
That's on a par. It's on a par with what Drew did. So he's looking at a potential 5th, 6th place at the moment. Is Jason? We've got 6.5 minutes left of the quality session. Jason perhaps a little cautious through the final corner. We're heading up to the start-finish line. And what's it going to be? It's 8th place. It was lost to 10th in that final sector.
So looking at
just to let you know, sorry, drivers that are on track. Jamie James is on an out lap. Drew may be on for another flying lap, but I think he'll be on his way to the pits. Coming to get you is on track. Jason, he's on track, and Erna, he's on track as well. 16.8 sector 1, a 32.6 sector 3.
Ooh,
sector 2 even.
I've got to point this out. Coming to get you second sector is a 30.8. And I believe that to be purple, and he's just about to go across the line. He's on the super soft tyres. He's gone P2 with a 108.4, a 20.8 sector 3. Yeah, wow.
That's a quick time actually, because he was on the super softs, and Dan Evans has put a pole lap, provisional pole time in on the ultra softs.
Yeah. So when we saw coming to get you earlier on, and he really said he didn't seem like he was on the pace. He just wasn't wanting to be on the pace because he was just doing some laps so he could get on the super softs at the right time. That was nicely done there so far. He may even go faster on his second lap.
Yeah, for anyone that's watching as well and wondering why we're not focusing on the likes of Dan Evs, Jamie James, Kay Slay,
coming to get you, sorry Dave, sector 1 is a 16.4, which I believe is the quickest so far. Yes it is. And his second sector is a 30.9, which is only a 10th off his quickest. So he could be on for pole here.
You're right.
Like I said, he's on the super soft tyres, and I've found in practice that the second lap on the super soft tyres is the quickest one.
Yes,
yep, he's on pole.
Nicely done. I was going to say, yeah, on the super softs it will do. That extra lap of warming them up does help. The reason why we're not focusing on quite a few of the drivers is if they're WC drivers, we're not focusing too much on them. Obviously, focuses on the World Championship Reserve drivers. But a question for you, Oliver. I mean, you were talking before we came on air a little bit about this. Someone, SBL Mali Kekech, has actually commented on YouTube. He says, guys, SBL, me, I'm an assist user, so I'm not used to no assist. So how do I drive it in the wet?
With difficulty.
Turn your engine down to lean, right? Turn your engine down to lean and just go for it without killing anybody. Brake nice and early, and don't destroy anybody's car.
What I would say is don't put your foot flat to the floor until you're in about 5th gear.
I tell you what, Jason. Oh God, I've done it again, haven't I? Jason. He's gone and put himself in 5th place with a 109.221. Jamie James has gone and put himself on pole position. There's now nearly 3 tenths between himself and coming to get you. Let's see, WCR drivers, who's out on track? Drew, he's back out there to start a flying lap. Mali
braking place has just gone deep into turn 2. He's only on that lap, so that's fine.
Mali Kekech, I think, is on a flying lap. Yes, he is. He's done a 16.7 sector 1. Emre Ortul has just finished a lap, has he? Yes, I think he has, or he's just going for another one. And I tell you what, I could be mistaken, but I thought I just saw a splatter of rain on my screen.
Ooh, maybe. If people are leaving it to the last minute, if we get a little bit of moisture on the circuit, it'll be too late.
Mali Kekech is on a quick time.
And so is Drew. Drew's just gone a 16.5 sector 1. Keep letting us know what Mali Kekech is doing.
Yeah.
As Drew is round turn 3 and 4. Oh, he's into the wall, front wing gone, and he would have just been super big smiles once that sector 1 came up and it was green, but unfortunate there for him. So Mali
just retired and stayed 9th.
Okay.
WCR drivers on track, Braken Clays, Tina
Hen, yeah.
Emma
He's done
Orton.
a fairly quick first sector. I think the track's slow, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't look that quick, does it? Well, Auto's got 2 corners to go. Looking at his sectors, that's a bit of an outlap kind of
Tina Hen's
sectors.
on a quick lap. 31.2 for the second sector.
Oh, let's have a look at that.
Could be in the top 5 here.
Penultimate
Good
corner.
entry to the penultimate corner. Oh, he's lost the back end slightly.
Still an improvement. Yeah, that puts him in 5th position, and he is on the ultra soft tyres though, so that might be a compromise when it comes to the race though.
Turkish driver has done a 16.5 for the first sector on the super softs.
Which Turkish driver would that be? Because we've got 2 of them today.
I can't pronounce his name. In the McLaren.
They're both in McLarens.
So Tinahan's gone for another lap, you know. Tinahan's gone for another lap. He's done another 16.5 sector 1. If you can improve on his sector 2 time, which is a 31.2 he's done previous, if you can improve on that, he could be gaining more positions here.
Yeah. Erna Urchum has done a very good sector 2 time of 31.3. He's currently sat in 12th. He's got the super soft tyres on. This could put him within the top 10. But he does have a Red Bull chasing him down as well, which might be a bit of a distraction for him. And he crosses the line, goes 6th. So there's still a lot of changes happening. We've got 33 seconds to go until we get booted from the pit lane, as Drew attempts to get out for another lap. But I don't think he's going to get round in time to start his lap. And someone's lost it after the first corner and taken out the side place.
He's done a 16.5 in the first sector. Let's have a look at his second sector. He's on the ultra soft, so he's lost the back end going into exiting turn 5. 31.2, that's a pretty good time.
Yeah, I found these super softs, sorry, the ultra softs, the purple ones, a bit like driving on jelly. Once they got a bit too warm, they were bloody awful to drive on. They felt more like the slowest tyre, not the quickest tyre. Okay, and Braken Clay's into... Yeah, let's find somebody that is on a lap, or possibly on a lap. Una is not on a lap. Is Auto on a lap? He looks like he's on an in.
I think that's it for the WCR drivers. Their lap times are done.
Okay, so while we're waiting for the results of the qualifying to come up, quickly run over the question of the day again. So the question of the day is, in our last broadcast, how many times did DP say, I tell you what? It was a 26 lap race at Baku. So how many times in a 26 lap race did DP say, I tell you what? So we've already... what? DP, have we had any guesses yet about that on YouTube?
No, not yet. Not yet. They're talking about tyres at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. I still think it could have been quite a lot. I mean, since you told me about it, you did say that now I've told you about it, every time you say it, you'll be aware of it. And I know I've already said it probably 10 times. So I'm trying to sort of put that into perspective. And I'm trying not to say it. So putting that into perspective, yeah, it's probably in the 50s, 60s. John Rhinos, he's guessed 20. John, I'm afraid it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that. So yeah, we'll wait to see. Obviously, in a few moments, Steve's going to have to jump out of the lobby so that he can get back in to catch the start of the race, which it looks like it's going to go wet in the middle. Now, with it going wet in the middle of the race, I mean, you asked Oliver earlier what he would do. I mean, one of the things I would have done is qualified on a set of tyres that would take me as long as possible into the race. So the hope is that the rain comes before I need to pit. And then once that's happened, the mandatory tyre rule goes out of the window. So once you've put inters or full wets on, and round here it usually goes intermediates, wets very quickly. If it dries up later on, then you've got brand new sets of ultra softs you could possibly use later on in the race. But yeah, I mean, if it rains here, it does tend to not just dribble a little bit, it's more like full-on hangover sort of dribble rather than just a splattering.
Yeah. Okay, I've just noticed F1 Roadrunner has rejoined, so it might be slowing things down a little bit as he's been popping out and in. Yeah, keep them answers coming in about the question of the day. Also, any comments people wish to make about the Codemasters glitch patch that's supposed to be under development or in development. Yeah.
Well, there have been a couple more guesses, but time for Oliver to take us through the qualifying order.
Yeah, so in pole position we got the World Championship driver Jamie James and Casey in second by a tenth. Coming to get you is the highest World Championship reserve driver on the Super Softs, and he's only 2/10 off, which is a very good time. Braken Clay's in fourth, Tina Hill in fifth. You're gonna have to help me pronounce this driver.
Erno
Urchin in sixth, Yarson in seventh, Bleeding Sunrise in eighth, Drew in ninth, Mali Kekec in 10th, Kay Nyanda in 11th, Will Butler in 12th, and we've got Ortel in 13th, Tempfear in 14th, and no one else set a time.
Well, there is a couple of drivers that have joined, so may start behind us. But also, right at the end of qualifying, I saw Dan Evans go into the pits, and I went and watched someone else, and it popped up saying Dan Evans has been disqualified, so he's going to be starting from the back. Now, what you get disqualified for in qualifying, I don't know.
Someone's progress race start.
Yeah, it's okay. In the reserve event, but yeah,
well,
some of the reasons why we have the rule in the WC and WS not to press race start, because someone presses it very quickly.
Knowing Dan Evans' previous history at Austria, it was probably to do with a pit entry.
It could well have been. It could well have been. I do think though they should redesign the pit entry here for definite. Okay, formation lap is not quite underway yet, but won't be long until we are on the move.
I'm on the move.
Okay, we are going, so Steve can rejoin us. I'm going to have a quick tyre. Ortel has gone for the soft compound tyre, which is the hardest. Tempfear's gone super soft, and then I've got a space missing, so I don't know who's there. And Overdyking is in behind us, as well as I think Dan Evans might be. Overdyking has gone on the super soft tyre.
Was that Space Mine by any chance?
That's Dan Evans.
Yeah.
It could be yours. It could have been Dan Evans. We'll have to wait and see. But okay, so predictions, guys. We've got coming to get you. Leading WCR driver in third, Braking Clays in fourth, Tinahan fifth, Ermichem sixth, Jason seventh, Bleeding Sunrise eighth, Drew ninth, Mali Kekec 10th, K9 Andrew 11th. So from third to 11th, it's all reserve drivers. How do you think they're going to get on?
I think coming to get you and Braking Clays will have a good race together, and I think they'll keep up with the World Championship drivers ahead of them as well.
Well, I think actually that coming to get you is going to do one over the championship drivers here, because he's got the optimal strategy by being on the super soft compound. He might be able to get that tyre to the wet part of the race, but also may be able to benefit from having the additional tyre wear advantage as well later in the race. So maybe that will be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, you've always got to put your money on coming to get you when it comes to the World Championship reserves. Braking Clays is always a threat.
Driver.
Yeah, he's
They're both quick actually. I've chosen both of them before in the to reserve for myself.
Okay, let's get back up near the front. We are going to focus on coming to get you. The lights are on. The lights are about to go out. They are out. The tyres smoke up. They are away. The Ferrari's got a nice clean start. I think it's Casey on the inside there. They're coming to get you, brakes late with his teammate alongside him. A little tiny bit of contact, and a McLaren off into pits. Oh, there's a car into the wall. I think that was a Force India. Not quite sure of the driver, but got very close there. Casey under pressure from coming to get you and Braking Clays. Braking Clays looks like he's going to try and make a move, but there's just not enough room. It's three wide. This is getting very close. Keep it clean, guys, and it's going to be amazing. Braking now into turn 3. The Ferrari's up the inside, and the Manor, who is who's in the Manor? Is that Jamie James in the Manor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little bit hung out to dry. You just saw a flash of Ferrari. Yeah, what happened?
I think he just outbraked himself.
Oh dear.
A bit of info for you. The collision you saw at the start, I think it was SPL Malikekech, perhaps got a little bit sideways in the Renault, tagged W Butler, who was in the Force India, and they came together and caught Kane Nyanda. Kane Nyanda is now 16th, just behind Malikekech.
Yeah, well, Jamie James recovered towards the end of that lap. Is now putting Casely under a bit of pressure up at the front, with Coming to Get You following them behind, and a guy that is also doing very well at the moment is Jason in 4th position. He's on the ultra soft tyres though, so he's got to look after that compound and think about when he's going to be pitting. If we weren't considering rain, Oliver, and it was just a normal race here without, normal dry conditions.
Just brake way too late into turn 2 and swipes the side of Dan Ebbs.
Oh, Dan won't be liking that.
Damage.
Yeah, so pit strategies. If you was on the ultra softs, when you're looking for a pit stop?
I think it's around lap 7, if I'm correct, because the super softs will go to 11.
Yeah. Okay, so if we do get a bit of rain,
knowing rain was coming, I think I would have qualified on the soft tyres.
Okay, random bit of info for you. Casely's decided to pit unless he's serving a penalty. I'll check that one out. But that moves up Jamie James, and it also moves up Coming to Get You. Casely, he's now just got himself a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so maybe a tactical stop for him just to test tyres, but he's got to drive through as well.
Yeah, Coming to Get You, putting the race leader under pressure. He's gone up the inside in towards turn 2. Can he keep it tight under braking? He's kept the apex nicely. Left space for Jamie James round the outside.
And I tell you what,
Ding.
It's on the super softs.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what, Jason's getting surrounded. Sorry, Steve. Jason is getting very surrounded by a number of cars here. This is going to end badly, and it could have ended a hell of a lot worse. I think that's Tina Hearn and Overdijking have just got past him as well as Dan Evs. That all started from Temp Fear making a pass on Jason, and then he kind of got swamped.
Yeah, so losing out a few positions there, but it was still looking in a good position when it comes to the overall World Championship Reserve drivers. Coming to Get You though, up at the front, is looking in a very good position, and he's taking that lead from Jamie James, and I would suggest now that the compound of his tyres is absolutely working perfectly, as Jamie James's compound is going to start to go off, and there's a difference in delta times between the tyres now. I don't even think the DRS is going to help.
Casely's bitten again.
That'll be his
drive-through penalty. I think the ultra soft tyres are really hurting, because Tinahan, he's made a pit stop as well. I've just seen W Butler. Yeah. Had a big moment around turn 1. There was a couple of other cars in the pit lane. Let me see if I can tell who that was. Bleeding Sunrise, he's pitted for the soft compound tyre.
Okay. So Jamie James then.
Kane Nyanda just nearly wrote his car off coming out of the final corner.
You say Jamie James is trying to hold on to the back of Coming to Get You, but his tyres are not liking it at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if James is going to be into the pit lane soon, and he's in. It's this lap 4. Well, there we go. He's getting them out of the way, and that's good, drop him back into the middle of the pack, I should say. So Jason then, currently sat in 6th place. He's going to benefit from a position from Jamie James pitting, I would imagine. Wonder how far Jason's going to take his ultra soft tyres. We know that he can be very good with his tyre wear, as we've seen in Monaco on many of occasions. And I'm just wondering if this is another circuit that Jason likes. Would you say this circuit's a little bit like Monaco?
No.
No.
What did you say earlier, Oliver, before we was on air? About it's a bit like Monaco.
It's more difficult than Monaco, I feel.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, I just know that Jason's good at Monaco, and I think he likes this circuit as well. His driving is showing at the moment. So let's have a little bit look further down in 6th position. Unachum, Bob in 6th position. Currently 13 seconds off the lead.
Out, really.
Yeah, it's spread out quite early on. I'm just looking, there is a bit of a battle on. K-Slay has just made a move on Emre Ertel, who is on the soft compound, which is the hardest that's available this weekend, the yellow wall tyres.
SBL Malik Kekec is under a lot of pressure from Kane Nyanda as well. Oh, Kane's gone for a bit of a dive bomb there. Malik Kekec managed to avoid him, but Kane has got ahead. Sorry to cut you off there, I was a little bit frantic.
That's fine.
The closest cars we've got on track is the 3 World Championship drivers over Dykink, Dan Evans and Tenth Beer. And they're side by side almost all the way through the lap.
Well, the reason why we're not going to be watching them on the screen, we can talk about them, but the reason why we're not focusing on them is because this is the World Championship Reserves race, and Kane Nyanda is, I don't know how to put this, he's being followed. He has made the overtake on, who is the Renault behind him? Malik Kekec. Yeah.
Leading Sunrise, overtake, going for the move on Tinahan around the outside of turn 2, makes that stick.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to say, Kane Nyanda's just not been able to pull away from him. He made the move, but they seem to be lapping at very, very similar lap times, as Kane's just made a little bit of mistake coming out of the exit of turn 1, and that could allow Malik Kekec to get it right up his slipstream, get up close, and maybe use the DRS to some sort of an advantage as they head towards turn 3. So how's this DRS going to affect this battle? I know it's only for 14th and 15th, but it's still interesting as Kane's struggle with his rear end, and that is just going to allow Malik Kekec to drive by.
That horrible traction coming out turn 2.
Yeah, and we saw it for, very, very clearly there. It's almost as if there's like, you drive uphill on slick tyres on ice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So let's have a little bit of a look elsewhere then. Coming to get you, how's he doing? He's still in the lead. He's still on his super soft tyres. Did you say about lap 11 or 12 for these tyres normally?
Yeah, 10, 11 I think he'll pit probably.
Yeah.
Depends how hard he's been pushing them really.
Well, it's a sort of driver that doesn't tend to push his car too hard. He has it set up so it's nice to drive. It doesn't put too much pressure through it. It's more of a Alain Prost rather than a Ayrton Senna, or I was thinking of Montoya, but yeah, that he is more of a professor.
So I'll cut in for a moment. Yeah. We've got Erna Urchum being caught by Jamie James. Erna hasn't pitted yet, but look at the clouds as well. It's getting dark. But I tell you what, if we look at Tinahan's got a train of 4 or 5 WCR drivers right behind him, and actually he's attacking W Butler, who's right ahead of him. So that's where the closest battle is at the moment, on Tinahan.
Yep, we're on Tinahan. He's got his DRS open.
Go for the move on the main straight.
Up the inside, is that the best way to do it? Into turn 1 up the inside, or would the around the outside be better? What's your thoughts, Oliver? Would you do it on the inside?
If you go around the outside and the person's still on the other, it could be. Oh, well, Butler's gone for the move up the inside, brake too late, and Tinahan's got the move done. And then
who's that coming back out?
Bleeding Sunrise right behind him with DRS in the slipstream. Up the inside, Bleeding Sunrise is on the soft tyres. Oh, so close. Bleeding Sunrise on the curb, but they both get away with that. And we've got someone off in the background.
I think that might have been Will Butler again.
Yeah, that was Will Butler.
Okay. Yeah. Urchum is about to get past. Sorry, Erna Urchum's just been passed by Jamie James, so Erna's now down to 6th place. But I think it's going to start raining within the next 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, so the guys that started on the super soft tyres, the red wall tyres, as the leader did, yeah, just a good picture of the clouds there. Kane retired out of the race. Wonder what happened to him. I'm sure we'll find out. But yeah, just had a good picture of the clouds. It looks like that rain is in a minute. We can hear any minute.
sorry. I was just looking at Bleeding Sunrise, and the car behind him, the Williams, just had a massive oversteer moment on the exit of turn 1, ended up in the barrier. Not sure how much damage he got though.
Yeah. And it would be around about this stage of the race now where these yellow wall tyres, or soft tyres, are going to be running at a faster pace than whoever started on the middle compound. So we're just kind of at that sort of a crossover point now. So it is going to be crucial what lap it's going to rain on, because if you're on the super softs, you want it to rain now. Now is the right time for the guys that are on the super soft tyres.
Yeah, I don't know what Coming to Get You must be thinking, because obviously he started the race on these tyres and I'm sure he can see the clouds, so he'll be thinking, do I pit now and put the ultra softs on, do a quick stint, or wait and lose quite a lot of time on the warm super softs and then pit the inters, saving a pit stop.
Yeah, I think
he's going wide everywhere.
Yeah, I'm going to say what most people say in Formula One, and I think actually I can't remember who it was that said it the most, but you've got to be on the right tyres at the right time. Doesn't matter how many pit stops you do, you've got to be on the right tyres at the right time, and that's how people will beat their competitors. Because if you're on the wrong tyres, forget it. You know you're going to lose so much time. And we've seen it, especially here at this circuit, before in previous races.
Yeah, just a bit of info for you, and also tell you this is probably going to end in disaster. I've just been watching the battle for second place for a lap between 3 World Championship drivers. Got Temp Fear, Overdijking and Dan Evs. They've been racing very, very nicely. Been going 2 wide, 3 wide at different parts of the circuit, which now I've mentioned it is going to probably end in complete disaster, as it very nearly does do. But these guys really sort of testing themselves at the moment, and testing where the grip is out there.
Testing the strength of their front wings.
Yeah, that was the first sort of real contact they've had though in the last lap and a bit. But yeah, interesting driving from these guys. Obviously, like I said, they're testing what's capable from their setups and their cars at this moment in time. 10th Fit looking like he's struggling with a little bit of understeer, but I mean, this is a situation in the race where drivers are going to be sat there going, I do not want to pit, I do not want to pit, because if I pit, I'm probably going to have to pit again for a set of intermediates. So it's kind of catch-22 situation.
Oh yeah, you know what's happening.
I think Overdijking could be pitted. No, Dan's pitted instead.
Oh yeah, Dan, sorry. Yeah, Overdijking, that into the penultimate corner, it's a tricky move that.
Yeah,
you can either
Coming to Get You has pitted as well. So he's gone to the end of lap 11, so he's put the soft compound tyre on, and Jamie James just coming around the first corner now. So Coming to Get You has managed to hold on to that lead, and Jamie James has been on those tyres for quite a few more laps. What, a good 5 laps now. So his will be nicely up to temperature, but I think they're all going to be pitting again fairly soon if the rain does come.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why Coming to Get You went for the soft compound there rather than the ultra soft. Because
or even the super softs.
Maybe their engineers obviously know something we don't know. Maybe they've been told the rain is not due for another 10 minutes. So he's thinking, you know, in 10 minutes time around here, that's almost 10 laps. Well, it's about 9 laps. So if you've got to be on a set of tyres for another 9 laps, then why not be on the soft tyres? That wouldn't seem too bad. It all depends on when is that rain going to come, because if it hits now, it's going to be in the pits anytime soon. It literally looks like the clouds are about to open up and dump the water on the circuit.
Malik Kekec has just put the intermediates on.
Oh, okay, well that's interesting. Is it raining on his screen? He's struggling to get out of the pit lane at the moment.
I think that might have been a mistake.
Well, yeah.
I think that was a mistake, yeah. There's no rain falling, looking from his TV cam. No. So, yeah, what he's going to have to be careful of as well is, I think the leaders have just passed him, so he's going to have to be careful of blue flags now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he was being overcautious or whether he was thinking, it's going to rain this lap, so I'm going to try and get the jump on everyone. I'm going to go on to these intermediates now and get the jump. He's took a gamble, but I don't know if that gamble is going to pay off, because like I was saying, you've got to be on the right tyres at the right time.
think coming to get
Here
you
we
made
go.
a good
Sorry,
call.
the rain. I've just seen it big splash over the screen. The rain is falling.
So is it the right time?
Yeah, I can see rain as well.
Well, for Mali Kekec, you know, he might as well stay on him. He's gonna kill him a little bit, but he might as well stay on him now. I tell you who this does work out for. It kind of works out for Jamie James because he pitted earlier on, but it works out more for Overdyking and Temfia, who stayed out anyway. But everyone who had just pitted, yeah, it could be a problem. Temfia has actually just been dropped to 3rd place by coming to get you. So has Temfia made a pit stop, or has he had an off, or is his tyres just absolutely dead?
I'm not sure, but
they've been on these tyres for quite a long time now, and they haven't pitted, and it's raining. Worn tyres in the rain. I wouldn't like to be them.
Yeah, the Inters are the better tyre to be on as soon as there's any type of moisture on the circuit, but Malik Kekec has just struggled quite a lot through the last sector on his previous lap, and he's on the Inters, and I'm just wondering whether he's overcooked them. Ding!
I've said it again. Coming to get you, could work for coming to get you, because Overdyking's ahead of him, hasn't pitted, but coming to get you is catching him up quite quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised if they both go into the pits. Yeah, Overdyking going into the pits, but coming to get you isn't. He's continuing on. He's feeling happy with how his car's handling at the moment. I think that might be the wrong move.
Yeah, maybe he knows something we don't.
All the World Championship drivers are pitting for Inters, and it's getting heavier. Dan Ebbs is staying out.
If you're going to make a mistake, you might as well make that mistake in the reserves race and learn from it.
True.
But I'm not saying anyone's made a mistake here, because you could say Malik Kekec knew the rain was going to come that lap because he put the tyre. Maybe it was 1 lap early, but a good guess.
Who may have timed it well? Urchum. He's already on the intermediate tyres, but he didn't pit at the same time as Mali Kekec. So he's got Casey ahead of him, who's trying to get into the pit lane. So Erna may gain a few places. Let's see, Breaking Clays, he's into the pits. Bleeding Sunrise, he's into the pits. Jamie James, he's pitted.
I think
so.
We're going to see coming to get you in the pits. He's starting to struggle now. His pace has just gone completely. It looks like he's on an in-lap from qualifying rather than on a racing lap. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that car was to be heading into the pit lane on this lap as he heads towards the pit lane now. So he is trying to get in the pits.
He's just lost 4 seconds in one sector.
Yeah. So Overdyking is already at the pit entry on the penultimate corner. So yeah, he's going to have lost out big time there, and that's all because he went for that additional pit stop. But if he'd have gone onto the ultra soft tyres like we were thinking that he probably should have done, he probably would have had a few really good fast laps in the bag there. So maybe a little bit of a mistaken choice of tyres.
Still in second at the moment.
Yeah, he's leaving the pit lane, and Temfia is, he's gone down to third. Temfia has just taken him as he's gone round turn 1. Behind coming to get you is Jamie James, and they were battling for the lead at the start of the race, so it's all coming back together for those there. So the winners from that then has got to be Overdyking, who's managed to pit at the precise time and got a nice jump on the lead there. So Erna as well, he's currently in 4th place. It looks like he's handling these conditions quite nicely. Hope that's not a commentator's curse. Behind them we've got Brake and Clays overtaking. No, it's, hang on, confused. Who do we have in that? There must be a back marker in the Force India. That'd be Will Butler, that's who it is. I'm guessing at that. So Brake and Clays then on the Inters, going around turn 2, struggling up over the hill, and I would be assuming that the DRS would now not be available for these guys in these conditions.
Well, I mean, the other question is it going to get heavier? Is it going to need full wet tyres? I mean, it's a possibility if the rain keeps falling as it is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, for the just to update everybody what the situation is with the World Championship Reserve drivers at the moment. Coming to Get You is running in 3rd place. Bleeding Sunrise is running in 5th place. Erna Urchum is in 6th, with Breaking Clays in 7th. Tina her 9th, Jason 10th, Emma Ortel 11th and has just gone a lap down. Mali Kekec is in 12th, and we've had quite a few DNFs in this one already. Dan Evs was one recently. I'll have a quick look at whether it was a collision.
Coming to Get You seems to be a lot quicker than Dan Evs. Sorry, Tempfear.
Yeah, he's all over the back of. He's all over the back of Tempfear.
Now, from what we could see from qualifying with Coming to Get You, is he did have a car that was set up mainly for this back end of the sector of the circuit, so more downforce most likely. So in these conditions, he'll be benefiting more so than anybody else. And he's going for a move up the inside. No, he decides better of it, as he's going to get right up the rear on the last corner and maybe have a go into turn 1. And just hope that you've got enough straight line speed with your engine turned up to rich to try and make a move up that inside, but he thinks twice about it. Once again, in these conditions, it's such a tricky thing to do, because if you brake a little bit late up the inside, you're just going to T-bone the car in front of you, and that's not going to be a way you're going to want to end the race.
We'll do it here. We've got Emma Ertel, back marker. Okay, he's got out. Oh, he's just taken out Tempfear. Brakes far too late.
He did brake a little bit late there, didn't he? And Tempfear went for the turn, and there was a car next to him which was Coming to Get You.
But I think he's letting him back past.
That is good sportsmanship there from Coming to Get You to say apologies for that.
Only if Rosberg did that this year.
Look at the weather though, guys. Yeah, you're right there, Ollie, but look at the rain. Just before that happened, the rain started falling heavier. I think he may have been caught out where he'd been able to brake there on a previous lap, but all of a sudden he got there this time and he didn't want to slow down for him.
Well, also there was a back marker there or thereabouts as well, so that may have caught them by surprise, and it was because he was quite tight up the inside. Not probably as much grip as he was expecting, and with it being a lot wetter now than previous lap, as Tempfear struggles around the last corner, runs a little bit wide, and that is going to put Breaking Clays, Coming to Get You right up his rear again. Is he going to end up making the same move, or is he going to try it into turn 1? He's thinking about it into turn 1. He's showing him in his mirrors. He's gone for the apex, and he's got the move done this time. Tempfear able to make the corner as well, so that's why it's nice to see you giving the position back when you make a mistake, because you have the pleasure of overtaking them a second time.
Okay, Breaking Clays has recently got past Erna and might be catching up to Bleeding Sunrise, but there is a bit of a gap between them.
Since when did Jamie James get into second? I thought
when Coming to Get You and Tempfear had their coming together.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't watching.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, Jamie James.
I'm just guessing. Okay, let's see. Have we got any battles between the WCR drivers at the moment? Not really. Although saying that, Mali Kekec, I think that's a leader behind him. Breaking
Clay's rear end is just wanting to snap out of him on the exit of turn 2. The rear end not wanting to point the car in the right direction at all. What have you seen, Ollie?
It's getting busy up at the front. We've got Force India going slow. I think that's a blue flag. I'm sorry, I thought that was over Dyking that was going slow. Coming to Get You is catching up. Jamson James.
Jamie James,
well, he did lose half the rear. Here comes Coming to Get You. Coming to Get You's got the race in line, but Jamie James may have the better braking position. Coming to Get You is up into second place now, with Jamie James's oversteer moment there. Tell you what, there's still 16 laps left in this race, and it could go either way. It could go wetter, could go drier. Jamie James trying to fight back on Coming to Get You. Well, he's got to be careful though with Tempfear behind him. James
showing that he's definitely good enough for the World Championship.
Yeah, he definitely he's definitely got some abilities. As Tempfear chucks it up the inside of Jamie James.
Good move.
Could be happy about that one, but yeah, Tempfear would have liked that one. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Coming to get you is showing that he's got enough to battle with the big boys.
It's just a shame at the moment there's not an available seat to put him in there as a permanent drive. And it's a shame we can't just create a seat for him.
It's nearly gone. Oh, Tempest massively losing the back end.
That's going to put him under pressure now from Jamie James. And in fact, Jamie James not able to do anything about it.
It's because Jamie James got a bit scared from Tempest having a tank slapper on and just slammed the brakes on himself and let Tempest go.
Yep. Just point out, we're on lap 21 of 36. Am I right in saying the rain is lightening up a little bit? It doesn't seem to be raining as hard. Could it be getting a bit drier?
I think you might be right. It's looking like it's getting a little bit lighter as well. Although this is a circuit where historically it doesn't dry rapidly. It's not like a Brazil where once it stops raining, give it a couple of laps and you've got a nice bone dry circuit. It's going to take a couple of laps.
Yeah. Just keeping an eye on coming to get his lap times compared to the guys around him. Or I should say time to the leader. He's 10.7 off the lead. He's just taken a second and a half in the last couple of laps out of the lead. Now he's pulling away from Tempest and Jamie James behind him. So his setup, his car is liking these current conditions, and he's able to capitalise on that at the moment. So he is the front runner of the reserve drivers. He's just about to cross the line, so we'll have another little look at the difference between him and the leader again. He's just taking 7/10 out of the leader in that last sector. So Bleeding Sunrise is the second highest running WCR driver. That's what I was trying to say. He's currently 37 seconds behind the lead, running on his intermediate tyres. And it was a bit of a late call for him to decide to race today, wasn't it, DP?
It was, yeah, but fair play to him. I mean, he's been promoted to a permanent seat in the World Series, so figured get a bit more track time in the no assist side, which the World Series drivers can do. The WS drivers can compete in the World Championship reserve events, especially if they do want to look at going to the no assist side of racing. They would need to take part in that. But I tell you, I'm riding on board with Bleeding Sunrise, and there is no rain hitting his car. And he's catching up to Jamie James, who's pitted, put on a set of soft compound tyres, but finding out it may be a little too soon.
Yes, we've noticed this before, haven't we?
Stopped.
Yeah, we've noticed it before. You've got to really wait until the circuit is absolutely, completely bone dry.
Yeah.
You will not get an undercut going from the intermediate tyres onto a set of slicks. It just doesn't seem to work, and he's now going to be under pressure from the next car behind him, which is Braken Clays, who's going to make easy meat of him in this middle sector here. Well, I say that, well, Braken Clays' rear end was all over the place, so they go and come around the corner. There you are. So Braken Clays pulls away from Jamie James, and the next car behind Jamie James then, I've just gone the wrong way on the list.
Tinahan's gone off the track.
Okay, it is Casely will be the next car to catch up Jamie James. Casely still on the intermediate tyres. I'm just going to watch this for a bit of a reference, so we can see a bit of
the super softs.
Oh, and Tinahan has left the session. So you say Yarson is on the super softs. Well, that's an interesting one, because I would have thought Jason would have kept on the inters for a long time. So it'd be nice to see how Jason copes with them. So Casely continues on for another lap, and he's going to be catching Jamie James up. Where's Jamie James gone? Has Jamie James gone back in the pits? Nope, he's still out there.
Regretting his decision. Emra Ortal, he's just pitted as well, and he's put on a set of soft tyres and nearly lost it coming out of the pits. Let's see, who was the driver in the other Renault? It was SBL Malikekech. Yep, he's pitted as well, so set of soft tyres for him, and he's making a new line around the outside of turn 2. Yeah, not a lot of grip on the dry tyres.
Or soft tyres, that's interesting.
Well, I can understand the World Championship drivers testing out, or even someone like Jason testing how soon they can go on the slick tyres. I think the track, you know, is now ready for them, looking at how it's just flickered and gone quite a bit drier. Yeah, so I can understand the WC drivers going for the slick tyre to see if it is too soon, and it gives them the knowledge for next week's main events. But yeah, tricky. It is tricky.
So on lap 21, I was saying about it that it looks like it might stop raining soon. The reason why I said that was you've got to start at that point thinking about, okay, at what lap do I pit? And at what point, what tyre compound does that mean? So basically, if you know you've got 10 laps left, you know you need a tyre that's going to last 10 laps. So at this point now, 12 laps to go, what tyre would you put on? As we're watching Coming to Get You head into the pits.
The super softs, definitely.
Yeah. Bleeding Sunrise and Break and Clays have just come out of the pits on the super soft tyres.
Coming to Get You's and Overdikings have just gone into the pits, pitting for...
Just wondering, though, if you've started the race on the super soft tyres and you've got that benefit of the tyre glitch in this race, possibly a set of ultra softs would do the amount of laps that are left.
Could have done, but Coming to Get You's gone for the super softs. Overdiking's gone for the super softs as well.
So Overdiking does come back out in the lead, so it's a straight race from here to the end.
Tempfier's just made he made a new line around turn 1, which is allowed Coming to Get You to stay ahead of him.
So Coming to Get You.
Sunrise.
Just thinking, Coming to Get You now 8.3 seconds off the lead, and this is where we're going to see if he has got his pace in the dry as well. Is that gap going to come down to Overdiking? Because Overdiking's not a slow driver around here. He's had a win in the World Championship before around this circuit, so there's no, we're not saying he's not good enough to do it. He could definitely be taking the win here this evening. But to see Coming to Get You try and close that gap down, it's going to be very interesting. Don't want to focus on Coming to Get You too much though, but he has just took it down to 7.5 seconds.
What you might want to have a look at is SBL Mali Kekec. He's got Emirates Auto behind him, but I think they may be on different laps. I will check.
Well, we've got Emirates Auto on lap 24. Mali Kekec is on lap 24 as well. As he looks like Drew. Yeah, he looks like Drew in that car with his helmet, similar colour to Drew. And a quick thing on actually helmets, DP. We had a driver asking last week actually whether you're allowed to have the helmet designed the same as another driver.
Yeah, we were asked that, and the answer is yeah. The drivers can have whichever helmet design on they wish. And yes, if it does end up being similar to someone else's, then that is unfortunate. Obviously, from a commentary side of things, if you're both in the same car and you've got the same helmet, you're just evil. That would be just mean, which means that the person who messages will probably be arranging that for next week. But we'll just put a reminder out there as well. I'll keep an eye on Coming to Get You for you to see about that gap while you keep an eye on everything else. Just a reminder for the reserve drivers: if you were paired up with a driver and that teammate has been taken as a permanent driver in the World Championship or the World Series, then your reserve team effectively no longer exists unless you can get another driver to pair up with you. The way the reserve races work is you can pick any car you want, although drivers are welcome to pair up in a team and select a car that nobody else will be able to use. So there are a few teams in the reserve events, but yeah, if you were in a team and your driver's moved on or moved up, then yeah, you're going to need to arrange for a new teammate to make sure you keep hold of your car.
Yep. Something else.
Car, Oliver. You're not that old that you hear it's going. Steve, would you like to just quickly go through question of the day again?
Yeah, I shall go through question of the day again as Casely sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:10. Question of the day. In the last broadcast that we did, which was Baku World Series last week, how many times did DP say, "I tell you what," during the race? So we've had a few questions in already, so I wonder how many people have been saying. DP, what have the guesses been so far on YouTube?
I will tell you in a moment. Erna Urcham's got a bit of traffic around him. Guesses have been 17, 37, 65. They're just a handful of them. I will be surprised if that's close to being right. Another one's just come in of 10. But yeah, if you want to have a guess at how many times I said that in last week's World Series broadcast, then pop your answers on YouTube, on the YouTube comments.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. DP, so far this race then, 28 laps in, how many times do you think you've said it today?
Oh God, I reckon I've said it probably 15, 16 times. I've been trying not to say it.
I'm on 13. I've counted 13,
13.
but I may have missed
I
some.
wasn't
And
far off then.
you're a co-commentator as well today, so you're not in the main
I'm
line
not
of
the
fire.
yeah, which I reckon it's going to be. I said between 38 and 60. I think that might not be enough. Okay, so we've got what 6, 7, 8 laps left of this race. The gap between coming to get you and overdiking up at the front has been holding at around 7 seconds. Let's see, coming to get you coming across the line now. It's just gone down to under 6 seconds. They're going to be on a similar tyre life, I believe. Let's see, Bleeding Sunrise, he's the next WCR driver. He's in 4th place at the moment, 33 seconds off the lead. And the gap between him and Brake Clays is about 7 seconds. A bit of a gap then from Brake Clays to K-Slay. K-Slay is a WC driver. Temp Fear, I think, has pitted again recently. Yes, he has. He's got the super soft tyre on. Erna Urchum, he's running the ultra soft tyre, but I think he's been on those for a while, so whether he's going to make it to the end or not, I don't know, but it depends on what tyre he started the race
Softs. He started on softs.
Started on soft, so yeah, he might make it. Jason's in 9th. He's on the super soft tyre, and I tell you what, it's looking like it's getting a little bit grey again, and could it rain again?
I did wonder that, whether it could rain again. It's possible. Anything's possible in Formula 1. As a great commentator once said.
I think Bleeding Sunrise is catching up to Jamie James.
It's quite possible.
The 3rd position.
Yeah, Bleeding Sunrise 32.9 behind the lead. Jamie James 29 behind the lead. So it's about
catching him actually.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds.
I've been monitoring that. Yeah.
So with the amount of laps we've got left to go, that is a possible overtake for Bleeding Sunrise. I'm saying he's not used to driving without assists on. It's a cracking showing. Even if his race is to end any time now, he has to be proud of what he's done so far in this event. It's been a good showing.
He is on the super soft tyre, and Jamie James is on the soft tyre, so that will help him as well. Yeah,
the car's just come out of the pits in front of Bleeding Sunrise, and I'm just wondering who that is. It's going to be one of the Turkish drivers. It's Emirates Auto. So Bleeding Sunrises may get DRS and benefit from it. He has. So you do get the DRS even if you've got a car in front of you that's a backmarker. You still benefit from that DRS, and that's going to help Bleeding Sunrise massively help and catch up Jamie James. Yeah, so well, anything can happen in Formula 1, like we say, and usually it does. Just thinking about the leader as well. If you keep an eye on Bleeding Sunrise for a moment, Oliver, and we'll have a look at coming to get you on the screen. He's got that gap now down to 4.3 seconds. So just wondering whether Overdiking is pacing himself, keeping his fuel on board for when coming to get you gets nearby, keeping his tyre life at a steady rate so that towards the end of the race he knows he's still got good tyres, just pacing himself, having a delta lap time to keep to, knowing that he can get his car to the end and in good shape. Whereas coming to get you at the moment, hell for leather, nothing to lose, everything to gain. They're just trying to show everyone how quick he can be. And that gap, wow, that is a whole second he's just taken there in that sector. So 3.7 seconds into the last couple of corners, and he's going to be able to see Overdiking ahead of him very, very soon. That's not Overdiking he's going past now, is it? Oh dear. Well, Overdiking's in a Force India. I've just seen.
He's just gone wide though at turn 1. He's just gone a little wide at turn 1. He may have been put off a bit by the cars that were around him. He's got a Mercedes ahead of him. But that's going to give coming to get you a bit more of a chance of closing the gap. Yeah, down to 2.9.
It's very close. It's very close. He's going to be able to maybe even get a little bit of a tow behind from Overdiking down this straight. And he's going to be right up that rear. And
Brake Clays, I think he's had a bit of a poor lap and he's on his way into the pits. So this may cost him a position. How far away is Erna? It may cost him a position. I'll keep you updated on that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm surprised that he's gone for the pits when he has done. Now he's going to keep hold of 6th place for the moment. Erna going around turn 1, and Breaking Clays is already out of the pits, and a couple of seconds between them.
Yeah, coming to get you 2.5 seconds now off over Dyking. He's got him in front of him. He's in that space now where he's going to have turbulent air. You have an understeer, dirty air understeer in the last parts of the lap. But if you were a betting man, Oliver, who would you have your money on over these last 3.5 laps? Over Dyking in the lead, or coming to get you, chasing him down in second?
Coming to get you.
Are you? Are you coming to get me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
DP.
because over the past 5 laps has just been so much quicker.
DP.
And, I think if he doesn't get him, he'll be very disappointed.
I think he will be. DP, who would you put your money on?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think sometimes it's better to be the hunter than the hunted. And Overdyking may have got himself into a bit of a rhythm earlier on when there was a 10-second gap between them, and coming to get you, being the hunter, has been able to just push, and Overdyking's in a situation now where, I mean, he doesn't have to do anything, but he would have to push to try and keep him behind him.
Oh, that spear's gone off.
I'm wondering if he was... Yeah, he has gone off. He is off. He would have been getting blue flags. He did set the fastest lap of the race, but he got blue flags as well, which may have been a little bit off-putting.
Is right on Overdyking now.
He's not quite... He's in DRS. Wow. How did he get DRS? It says up here 1.9 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah,
so
it's glitching.
Yeah. So he must be within a second at that point then. Wow.
Maybe the reason he's been able to catch up at the rate he has done is because he's had DRS every lap where there's no cars around him. You just don't know. But yeah, interesting battle it gives us though, so I'll leave you to keep an eye on that, and I'll have a look around the rest of the grid and see what we've got.
Yeah, I mean, for Overdyking in this position, it's just for pride for him, and also it'll take the positivity of how this race goes into his race next week as they come round the last corner for this lap. And
Overdyking's defending massively.
Yeah, and DRS open.
Clean air there, really.
So 1.5 laps to go, 1 and a bit laps to go, I should say, nearly near enough 2 laps. So this is a sort of circuit where it seems to be suiting coming to get you's driving style and setup. And yeah, I'm just wondering whether he's going to put lots of pressure on an overtake at the first opportunity, or just stay with him, and maybe he'll find it easier to overtake at the last moment as Overdyking's tyres are going off.
Overdyking's got a lot better traction coming out of the slow corners.
Yeah, it does look that way, but coming to get you seems to have a more comfortable car under braking and maybe in the higher speed corners, but the traction on the exit of the corners, yeah, Overdyking does seem to have to just pull away that little bit.
Out of that corner there.
Yeah,
he's right on Overdyking. He could go for a move into the first corner if he gets a good exit out of the last corner.
Okay,
nail this now.
If you're watching on the YouTube live, and put in the comments who do you think is going to take the victory here. We're on to the last lap, the side by side.
Outside. Oh, this could end badly. No, good driving.
Yeah, I wondered whether he was going to go for a switchback, but I think he's just concentrated more on sticking up behind him to get him on the DRS down towards turn 3, which may be the easier place to overtake. Concentrate on getting a good exit, and this is where you could get the...
He stayed in second gear to get better traction out of the corner instead of going down to first. And
it showed me a camera facing the opposite bloody way. Oh, how clever was that?
He's got a good run up the inside, he's going.
Oh, yeah. That was a close call.
It was a bit of a late look and a bit of a closed door. You know what happens with closed doors? You tend to hit them head on.
Yeah, it's one of those where you feel like you've got to make the move at some point on the lap, and he stuck his nose up the inside, but I don't think it was welcome. But maybe on a different day, the car in front of him may have left him another little bit more room, and the move might have been done. So Overdyking will take the victory on the day. Yeah,
Bleeding
go on.
Sunrise, though, is right behind Jamie James, who's dealing with traffic. A Force India. I don't know if it's going to get any closer with that Force India. Are they trying to get out of the way or not? I think they're trying to get out of the way by going fast. But that is dropping Jamie James into the clutches of Bleeding Sunrise. I don't think there's enough track left for him to make any kind of a move, though. No, I think Jamie James may just be safe, but Bleeding Sunrise is right there. But I think if this was a main race, Jamie James would have something to say about the back marker. So Bleeding Sunrise is going to finish in fourth. He's out of fuel.
He got a puncture as well on the right front.
Oh dear. Oh, he absolutely pushed it.
He was locking up quite a lot, yeah.
That's rather unfortunate.
Casely's got a rear right puncture. Braking Plays has just taken fifth.
Now, interestingly, a couple of laps ago, W. Butler got a front left puncture on the soft compound tyres. I mean, this track, it is a bit of a tyre eater, so punctures is not a massive surprise.
Well, just going to say, Casely's tyre's only flat at the bottom. So, look at coming to get you takes the victory.
One, yeah.
Because of the penalties handed out to overdiking on track in-game penalties, only 6-second penalties, but it was enough to promote coming to get you up into the first position there. Bleeding Sunrise has done the same over Jamie James. He has jumped Jamie James because of penalties. Bleeding Sunrise in third place, Braken Clays in fifth, Casely sixth, Una Urchum in seventh, Tempfear eighth, Jason ninth, Tina Hunt 10th, Amra Ortal 11th, SBL Malik Kekech in 12th position, Will Butler, Drew and Dan Evs, Kane Ayanda, and then us in the commentary box, and my name's not even on there. Yeah, it is a circuit that is quite easy to pick up in-game penalties, and it's something that we didn't even consider, to be honest with you, but it just goes to show how good coming to get you can be to take that victory there basically because of no penalties as well. So not just quick but clean.
Yeah, Erna Urchum, the other driver with no penalties there, so well done, Tim. We'll go for the podium interviews in a moment, and they will be held with the World Championship Reserve drivers, so that will be coming to get you Bleeding Sunrise and Braken Clays, I believe it was.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So if anybody's got any questions you would like us to put to those three drivers, feel free to comment on YouTube, and if they're not too rude, we will ask the drivers. Also, don't forget question of the day. Steve, do you want to fire it out again just before we get into the podium interviews?
Yep, in the last broadcast from Racing did, which was last week, World Series race at Baku, how many times did DP say, I tell you what, during the race? So we do have the drivers joining us now, and I've got quite a good few questions for some of these guys. It's going to be interesting to see their replies. If you could let me know when all three of them are in.
They are all in, as long as they...
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
So everyone make sure that they've got their microphone set to allow it to be shared, and we'll crack on.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go straight for the guy that won the race, and it wasn't just a moral victory, it was on the track as well, coming to get you. You didn't cross the line in first, but it must be nice they've taken the victory because somebody else has got penalties. Were you aware? Were you aware of the penalties?
Oh yeah, I like my engineer today when he says the car in front's got a time penalty.
So when they say that, I mean, if my engineer says to me the car in front's got a penalty, I normally assume they've got the minimum penalty, probably a 3-second penalty. So you've got to try and get within 3 seconds. So once you got within 3 seconds, was you still wanting to make that move and overtake him, or was you just going to follow him? And how committed were you? I was just going to say, how committed was that overtake when there was the bit of contact?
Oh no, I was determined to overtake him because the pace was electric today. It was brilliant. I had the car at the inside, hit the apex. It was committed. I thought he might leave some room, but I was wrong. But after that, it was just make up the time with half a lap to make sure I got within penalty time.
Yeah. Now you've done the race and you know it rained in the middle. Looking back at it in hindsight, would you have done anything different?
Yeah, I would have put a changeable condition setup, not my dry setup.
Well, looking at how you drove, your setup suited the wet more than anybody. Your setup was electric in the wet. I mean, the only thing I was looking at and wondered whether you would have changed something was your first pit stop. You went for the soft compound tyre. What was the thought there?
Because it said a light shower, to be completely honest, sometimes you can drive through it. So I thought I'll take a chance, might be able to drive through it. If not, I'm going to cost myself some time, and I went one lap too long on them, so missed the window. Yeah,
it was a bit of a gamble, but didn't pay off until near the end when you was able to pull it back. And yeah, over to our co-commentators this evening to ask you a question. And in the commentary box we've got RMS Marinello. Oliver, do you got a question for coming to get you?
I was going to ask him about his first pit stop, but you got there before me.
Oh, I do apologise.
Just congratulations on winning.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say to Temp, I'd like to apologise for the late braking and taking him out, because that was a bit out of order by myself, but I let him back through.
We did see that. That was good sportsmanship on your side.
Yeah, I don't know if he picked up damage, so apologies, Temp. Hopefully next week it won't happen.
Dad, might ask you to make sure it does. I've got a couple of questions for you. One is qualifying. You chose to qualify on the super soft tyre, not the ultra soft tyre. Was that to do with just longevity of tyre at the first stint of the race?
Yeah, to be fair, it was see if I could hold them out for the rain. Obviously you guys saw I couldn't, and it was where front row racing have changed the mandatory rule now where we're allowed to use it, so I thought I'd see what it's like in this race.
Okay,
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
What was your tyre degradation like on those super softs before you pitted?
Not too bad. I'm not giving a percentage out.
Of course, because you're racing next week, aren't you?
Exactly, mate, and I know I'm up against you.
My other question would be, when you made your first pit stop, obviously you've already said that you went for the soft tyre to see if you could drive through it. Oliver mentioned on the broadcast that, and so did Steve, they were surprised you didn't go for the ultra soft tyre to pump in some fast lap times. Did that cross your mind at all?
It did, but off experience in past, when it starts to get cold and wet, it seems that the softer compounds don't like it. They react in a different way, whereas the harder compounds seem to keep temperature a little bit better.
It was quite the opposite in the previous game.
Yeah, I've only experienced the opposite.
In the previous game,
Possibly
I've not experienced in this one.
I think it might be true what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite possible that it's changed. I mean, these Pirelli tyres, they are more susceptible to different temperatures. Like the ultra soft tyre, if it's too cold, they don't get the grip, and the soft compound tyre will work. Like if it's too hot, they might not have the grip. So yeah, but very well done. I think we move on to second place, or second positioned World Championship Reserve driver, which I believe was Bleeding Sunrise, who got very close to Jamie James at the end of the race there.
Yeah, I did. My awesome race engineer Kane told me he had a 3-second penalty. I did as well, so I tried to catch up, but I had a softer compound, so they gave in a little at the end. So the gap stabilized, and at the end he just made a mistake, and I got right on his gearbox, and he somewhere picked up the penalty to get to 6 seconds, and I overtook him. At the line by the penalty, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to make comment about your World Series seat, the fact that you've taken a full-time seat now in the World Series. What's your thoughts on that? Because it's the first time obviously we've been able to speak live about it.
It's true. Yeah.
Does it make you approach the races any different mentally? Now you know you've got a full-time seat.
No, not mentally. Maybe on the start I'm a little bit more excited, but once the race gets underway, that all disappears, and whatever happens, as you saw today, I just keep my head down and try overtake by overtake. I mean, at the start, I think the second lap, I got too close on the guy in front of me at turn 3, and I lost my front wing, and I had to do an extra pit stop, and it cost me like 30 seconds in total. So, and still finished third. So that's my best approach, I guess.
Well done.
Well done. And to be honest, I'm not surprised to see how well you've done driving on the no assists, because you are quite a good steady driver. And what I mean by steady is you're not too hard on the throttle, you're not too hard on the brakes. You make sure the car gets around the corner, and that's how these cars work best. So I'm not surprised you've done well today. So congratulations with that. Oliver, any questions or DP? Yeah.
Can you say we don't play the long ball game? Look at the statistics.
Who?
Bleeding Sunrise.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
It's not. The question is, can you say we don't play the long ball game? Look at the statistics.
No idea. I'm sorry. The long ball game. I'm not familiar with the term long ball game. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So one of our YouTubers said you sound like Louis van Gaal. So I was trying to get you to say a quote that Louis van Gaal said to see if it was right. It must be Louis. It must sound like Louis van Gaal because he didn't understand the bloody word I said.
Well, my English is pretty well, but yeah, sorry.
Right. It's better than Steve McLaren's Dutch, don't you worry. Okay,
But it's better than my English.
That's easily done. Okay, well done, Bleeding Sunrise. We'll move on to third place, Break and Clays. Looked like an interesting race and an interesting end to the race for you as well. Gaining a surprise position as K-Slade got a puncture.
Is Break and Clays there with us? He might be on mute. Ethan, just check you got on mute.
We'll find out in a moment.
I'm just
Maybe he's gone to the
wondering.
bathroom.
I'm just wondering. I mean, he can speak at any time when he's ready, but I can't look away from my screen to see if you've sent me a message. If you've not got your microphone.
It says he's talking, but I can't hear him.
Okay. Yeah. There's no volume coming through, Ethan.
Technical difficulties for Break and Clays at the moment then, so while we wait for him to get back in, do you want to ask these guys the
question of the
day? Yeah.
Actually, DP, who was it that... No, it wasn't coming to get you that commentated with you, was it, for that Baku race? It was the normal...
No. It was the normal crew, yeah.
The normal crew. Okay, so in the last broadcast that Front Row Racing did, which was the World Series Baku last week, how many times did Front Row Racing DP say, "I tell you what," during the race? So starting off with coming to get you, how many times do you think DP said, "I tell you what," during the race last week?
Says it a lot. I'll go for a wild number. I'll go for 39.
Okay, and
7 times, I think.
7.
I don't know.
I can tell you.
We did like 30 laps. Maybe set it, every 4 laps, and 7 laps, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well there's your guess. I've wrote it down.
By lap 16 today, I'd said it how many times? 13.
13. Okay, Ethan, if you can hear us, give us a guess. If you don't say anything, we'll put 0 down. Okay, that's 0. Okay, so if there's anyone said it on YouTube, Dave? Anyone have a random guess?
There's been a few more guesses, but I think Ray saying too many is about right.
Well,
just put me out of my misery. Come on.
It is only during the race, so this doesn't include before the lights go out. It doesn't include the interviews afterwards. It's only the racing laps.
Yeah, now you tell us that bit.
I did. I told you. I said during the race. Okay, so during 21 times in 26 laps.
How many? Hang on. How many did I say?
21. You said it. You said 21.
Yes.
So anyone that said 21 or near there, you are correct. So you could say, on average, DP says it every lap of the race.
Yeah, once a lap.
So there we go. Moving on. I'm sure you'll get your own back on me at some point to do with that question.
Oh, yeah.
Something similar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm surprised.
You what? How do you think I feel? I'm the one that apparently said it 21 times.
Okay, well, last season we had a saying that was said a lot, and we said, right, we're going to ban that for this season, and that was absolutely epic. Epic. And so we said we're not going to say it this season. Well, we've got, I tell you what, this season. That's it for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on YouTube? Any questions for anyone, DP?
There was a question. Ethan has said he has sent a message saying his mic is broke. That's unfortunate, Ethan. If you want to post your post-race comments on the YouTube chat, you can, and we can always say it out loud as well. While you're doing that, there was a question from Dom. Has said, well done to coming to get here, saying he was quick. There was also Dom that said he sounds like Louis van Gaal. Okay, he did also ask, sorry, this is for Bleeding Sunrise. It says, Bleeding Sunrise, are you going to bring the World Series title back to Holland?
Well, I will try my utmost best. I mean, my first race was in Baku, which is by far not my prettiest track, and I will try to improve on the tracks that I run well at. So let's see how far I can go up. And every race, my aim is to finish like 5th. I try to get realistic aims, but that's my goal for every race.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the Verstappen of the sim world?
Well, not overtaking wise. I defend fair and hard, but I think not as aggressive as him. But yeah, I try to beat anybody.
Well, I think your main aim has got to be to beat your teammate. Beat Hybrid Nuke, and then you'll do us all a favour.
Alright, I will try at least that, yes.
Yeah.
That's always
Okay.
the aim.
And allow me to beat you next week, thank you. Okay, I think we're ready to wrap everything up. Ethan, if you're able to send any race comments, we might be able to attach it onto the podium post later on. We'll see what we can do with that if Ethan's still listening. DP?
I have got one more question, and this is for Bleeding Sunrise.
Yeah.
Why did you buy Memphis Depay? He's bloody useless.
He was the top scorer in Holland, so and then everything just blew away in Manchester. I have no idea what happened. He was bloody great in Holland at PSG.
Just
It's the
goes to
British
show.
women wearing him out,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
DP, I have a question for you. I was
That's a first.
yeah. Some time ago I was watching some flight simulator commentary video and I thought I recognized your voice. Was that you? I think it was the Squirrel.
The Squirrel?
Yeah, as a nickname, but your voice is bloody the same.
No, I've not done any flight simulator commentary, but anyone who's been watching front row racing for a while will know that there has been a squirrel in front row racing a couple of seasons ago. You might have no idea what that's about, but no, I've not done any flight simulator.
I would swear it was your voice.
You'll have to send us the link so we can all have,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I will post. I will send you something on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah. If he's not saying I tell you what, then it can't be me. Okay, I think on that, last couple of things to mention is to let everybody know again that Project Cars comes back to life this weekend on Sunday, 8 PM, with a new format using the Mercedes AMG DTM. with a sprint race, then qualifying and a feature race. That'll be live on YouTube from 8 p.m. The grid has been formed for that. There's quite a few reserve drivers in place as well. But if you do want to get involved in Project Cars side of things, drop us a message from Row Racing on Facebook, or send KSlay1 a message on PSN. You can also find the Front Row Racing Project Cars community on PlayStation Network as well. So yeah, come and join us for that. But also tomorrow is the World Series Reserves event, round 9 at Austria, where I'm going to try and say as little as possible. But I believe Steve's got a guest commentator for tomorrow as well. So come and join us for that. That'll be live from about 7:25 p.m. And for anyone who wants to know, the World Championship and World Series round 9 events are next Wednesday and Thursday for 7:25 p.m. They should and could be epic, especially if the weather is like it was today. I just want to have one last quick look to see whether Ethan commented on the YouTube chat about his race comments. No, he didn't, so unfortunate that, but a good display from himself there. So anything else, Steve, or are we wrapping up on that one?
No, I just want to touch on one thing really, which was the great possibility of the driver points for reserves, doing a driver table as of the next round. I just want to have a quick question with these three to see if they would like Front Row Racing to do that. So coming to get you, Bleeding Sunrise and Breaking Clays, obviously can't answer, but yeah, the top two then. What do you think to us starting to take count of finishing points and a bit of a table for these reserve races from the next race onwards to the end of the season?
Yeah, who's first?
Go with the leader first, the winner first. So coming to get you, Dave. Yeah, what's your thought on
that? It's a good idea because it helps people monitor reserve drivers on their consistency and help pick a slot for them. So it's a good way. It's a good system. I think it's a good idea.
Good. Bleeding Sunrise.
Well, for me, the aim of the reserve drivers is to spot some great racing, and sometimes you might have a bad race, so it's really reflected in the standings. And I think, you know, with the goal of the league, it's more about your driving than the points. So I would say no to points as the reserve class.
I've gone back to liking Louis van Gaal because he's just explained the reason why, one of the reasons why we didn't bring points in anyway. There is one last topic. I've got to apologise about this. Should have mentioned this earlier on because this is unbelievably important. This is a life-changing situation that I need to mention now. It's quite simple, really. Should Oliver date the girl his mum setting him up with from the gym or not?
Thanks Dave. Cheers.
You're welcome. There's nothing like friends helping each other out.
Yeah,
so some friendly advice.
Friends,
friends. Should Ollie date the girl that his mum set him up with that she goes to the gym with?
Yes.
You can tell he's Dutch.
Give it a shot, she might be nice.
Yeah. I'm glad none of them watch this.
Till now.
It's alright, I'm sure I can find her on Facebook and send her a link.
Yeah, that's not going to be happening.
No, I'm sorry, Oliver. I had to do it. You guessed the amount of times I said those words correctly, so I had to do something.
I just went with my age.
Your age, okay. Fair enough. Right, okay. It's time to bring this to an end then. It's been a fantastic event here in Australia. So
Australia?
Thank you to our commentary team, Australia.
Oh, that's why I'm upside down.
That's where I am. I'm in Australia, mate. It's lovely and sunny here.
I'll tell you what.
Rain.
I'll tell you what.
I was waiting for you to say something then as well. Okay, yeah, a fantastic event here in Austria. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you very much to the commentary team from Racing GP and RMS Maranello. Well done to all of the drivers taking part, WCR drivers and WS drivers. And thank you very much to the viewers for getting involved watching. So make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your mates. Tell Ollie's new date.
No.
She might want to have a watch of this. So yeah, have a great night, folks. Thanks for watching. It's been Front Row Racing, and we'll see you. Actually, I should do it properly, shouldn't I? And I tell you what, We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.